Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday, the 23rd day of February, 2024. I hope you're safe and healthy today, that your family's also safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders, who every day are out here trying to save lives, and those that pick up garbage for us to keep our streets and places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help, rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Victims also of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography and child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of these things. Double curses on those who profit from these things. And double curses on the perverts that create these industries. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children, and increasingly senior citizens homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game last night in Philadelphia. The New York Knicks defeated Philadelphia 76ers 110 to 96. And there were some interesting things that happened in this game, eye openers for myself. First off, Isaiah Hartenstein, played only 11 minutes last night. Now, I'm hoping this is an indication that they're saving him for a big game tomorrow night against Boston. Boston is at full strength. We're going to need him then. We'll talk more about that. But last night, the Knicks had 5 players in double figures. Hartenstein played 11 minutes. Sims played 18 minutes and played very well in the 18 minutes that he played. We're going to need him also against Boston. But Philly was without Joel Embiid. And without Joel Embiid, they're a completely different team. Without Joel Embiid, they're basically a maybe 500 win, 500 percentage team. That's it. Okay. And so last night they were without Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey scored 35 points in 40 minutes. And that was pretty much it for them. They had a nice homecoming for Kyle Lowry. But other than that, they really couldn't compete with the Knicks. Now, Precious Achua, again, has become a revelation. Last night, he played 38 minutes. He had 18 points, 7 boards, 4 on the offensive end, a block, 2 steals, and 2 assists, only 2 turnovers. Again, 38 minutes. This kid can play. I knew it when we got him. He wasn't a throw-in. People keep saying him throwing. He wasn't a throw-in. He was a guy the Knicks wanted to go with OG. He just wasn't getting a lot of PT with Toronto, but he's getting it now with the Knicks, and he's a permanent member of the rotation. Brunson, of course, the leader, 39 minutes he played last night. He had 21 points. He had 12 assists. He did have 7 turnovers. It was uncharacteristic of Brunson. Everybody has bad games like that, including Jalen Brunson, everybody. So, yes, he did turn the ball over a little bit too much last night. I am quite sure that he is going to correct that and come back better the next time. Josh Hart played 44 minutes, scored 18 points, and had 12 boards. Again, everybody talking about he's too small, except he keeps coming up with double-figure rebounds. So here he is again. Tremendous defense. DiVincenzo, 16 points, 35 minutes, 6 of 15. Very efficient last night, 16 points. The bench, the big star of the game was Bojan Bogdanovic. Now, this is the revelation, one of them for me. I know he's not a stellar defender, but I knew, and I did a whole video on how tough he is. He's a tough dude. He's not like a softie like Frenchie. But we also know he can shoot. And last night, homie was 6 of 6 from 3. Now, it wouldn't be realistic to expect that all the time from him. Tremendous shooting, though. Tremendous shooting. Basically, he destroyed Philly almost by himself when he came in the game. He played 24 minutes. Sims played 18. McBride played 17. Burks played 13. So he can defend adequately. Okay, he can defend enough so that he can't be exploited in the right lineups. That's, I guess, what I'm talking about. He can defend enough. He's not a complete matador defense guy, although he can be, but he's smart enough and tough enough to position himself enough to be adequate so that he cannot be victimized. And that's the key thing on the defensive end. So he's going to be a permanent part of our team. I thought it was going to be Burks. And this is the second revelation to me. Alec Burks, for Tom Thibodeau, had been one of his ride or die type guys. What do I mean? Like, you got Emmanuel Quickly, you got Josh Hart. These are his guys. And of course, Jalen Brunson, ride or die. Like, he's going to go to war with these guys. Mitchell Robinson, he going to go to war with these guys regardless. Burks was in that category. Generally, when Tom Thibodeau has a guy like that, it says several things. Whether you agree with him or not, he trusts that player. He thinks that player can help him win because ultimately that's what Thibs wants to do. And that's what we want him to do, win. So he trusts that player. And of course, he believes that player can help him win. These are the big things when he has a ride or die type guy. That it's not like he just likes the way the guy shoots or the way he looks in his uniform. No, it's he can trust him and the guy can help him win. That's the way he goes. Okay. So Burks was in that category. And generally when a guy is in that category, Thibs is just gonna let him play. Whether he's playing terrible or good, Thibs is gonna let him play, especially a veteran. But last night was the first time to me in 4 years, under almost 4 years, not quite 4, this end of this season before, under Tom Thibodeau, that he took out a ride or die guy at crunch time and replaced him with a new ride or die guy, Deuce. Okay? Generally speaking, because Burks, let's put it this way. Since he's come to the Knicks, he has not been playing New York Knicks style basketball on either end of the floor. Okay? He's not been consistent on the shooting side, and he's been also not consistent on the defensive side of the basketball. Last night, he had a 3-shot opportunity, and he missed all 3. Okay? No, sorry, he missed 2 out of 3. Then he was already not really playing strong defense. It wasn't like he was terrible, but he wasn't playing the way we needed him to play to win. And Maxey was killing him. Maxey was killing everybody until Tom pulled the Deuce card. And at that point, that rally was over. And he put Deuce in the game. Deuce only scored, he scored 4 points, but it was the defense on Maxey. He took Maxey completely out the game. That's what Deuce McBride did. Took him completely out the game. Okay? And taking Maxey out the game, that Philly had nobody to turn to except Buddy Hield, who is a great spot-up shooter. Great spot-up shooter. But he needs a guy to get him into the spot-up. Without Maxey, he didn't get that. Okay? So Deuce on the defensive end, you won't see it in the box score, but if you watch the game, that was the ball game right there. Because the Knicks were up 26 and Philly was making a run. Every NBA team makes a run. This is the league, but they were making a strong run. Tom stopped the run completely by just substituting Deuce for Burks. Now, it was interesting. You had in that lineup, you had McBride, you had DiVincenzo, Hart, Brunson, and Achua. It was a small lineup. Now, you cannot do that. Like against Boston, you cannot do that. Okay, you'll get destroyed. But against Philly, you can because they had Paul Reed in there instead of Embiid, obviously, so they didn't have that rim protection. So you could run small, and the Knicks did. Okay, there's other like Indiana, as we already saw. Indiana will destroy you if you run too small like that. But what I saw was not only did Thibs take his ride or die guy out and put Deuce in, and again, what does that say? He trusts Deuce. He believes Deuce can help him win. Not only that, but he took out. He took out Burks. That was big to me. I've never seen him do that in all the 4 years he's been here. Deuce is now one of his ride or die guys. Okay, period. End of story. Now, what does that mean? Well, I think going forward, whatever Burks was counted on to do, Deuce is going to be counted on to do because of the defensive side and because, Deuce's shot, like last night was 2 or 4. He doesn't take a lot of shots, but he's very efficient when he does. And then I looked at it. Whenever Deuce scores double figures, the Knicks are 7-3. They're 7-3 when he scores double figures. When he plays at least 10 minutes a game, they're 14-7. Okay, so the more he plays, the better for the team. But that's always been the case with him. But now he's actually in his 3rd season. He's not a rookie no more. He knows, what he needs to do. So I think, you got something here. And then, if you notice against Orlando, even though they only had 6 guys, when the Knicks did make a run, it was Deuce and Brunson together. Now they haven't played a lot of minutes together, and I don't think anybody was expecting them to play a lot of minutes together. I mean, realistically, but I think Tom's going to use that set more with Deuce and Brunson. You don't lose, even though they're both small, because of his defensive acumen and Brunson's IQ, and Deuce has a high IQ as well. They run pretty good together. Okay, so I would not be surprised to see a Hartenstein, sets where you're getting a Hartenstein or a Mitchell Robinson with OG or a Chua and Deuce and Brunson. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's very successful whenever you put them sets in there. That's not going to be a start. I'm talking about as sets. You're going to have different sets of guys, different mixes of guys during the course of a game. That should be one of them, and I think it will be going forward. So that bodes very well for the playoffs. Now, Bogdanovic, perfect bench piece. Okay, I wouldn't start him. I don't want him playing against starting units, but against second units, yeah, he can do business. Okay, so just for now, for Boston, you're going to have Hartenstein, Achua, Brunson, Hart, and DiVincenzo. That's your starting 5. You're going to have Sims, Bogdanovic, McBride, and Burks. That's your second 4. I'm expecting more minutes with a Burks, Brunson pairing. Now, Boston has one of the top backcourts in the league. Both White and Jrue Holiday are top-notch defenders. And both of them are very efficient scorers. So this is not going to be easy. They're starting KP, and I noticed that with KP, they're now limiting his minutes to around 30, which is smart. Okay, like I said, I haven't seen teams do that. Only now I'm seeing Oklahoma City do it with Chet Hungry, and now Boston has caught hold of it with KP, which means like you don't want to play him 35 minutes and because he's going to get hurt. Period. He's Anthony Ambulance when you play him too many minutes. But you limit his minutes to, let's say, between 28 and 32, you can have him for the long haul. Okay, so they're doing that now. And of course, they're 44 and 12. Okay, so in the playoffs, I'm not scared of Boston. When the Knicks are at full strength and Boston's at full strength, you give me OG Anunoby, Juju, you put Mitch Robin in the second unit with Precious, Bogdanovic, Deuce, or Hart. I'm not worried about Boston. We could play with them, but we're not at full strength. Boston is at full strength, and we're not at full strength. So tomorrow night's game would be a matter of let's see how well we can do not at full strength against a team that's the top team in probably the league right now as far as record, definitely in the East, that's at full strength. So we're going to have to see. Because now, tomorrow, you're going to have Hartenstein out there guarding KP. You're going to have Precious. Now, Precious could guard KP. But Hartenstein will probably be guarding him because Hartenstein's limited mobility. And KP is mobile, but he's not that mobile that Hartenstein can't guard him. And you need the height against KP. But you got Precious that's going to probably guard either Tatum or Brown, and then Hart will guard the other one. Now, this is going to be a test for both our guys, okay? But it's going to be interesting to see because I know that OG can guard either of them. OG can, okay? So, but he's not here. So we got to see how Hart does. We got to see how Precious does. Now, in the backcourt, it's going to be a tough assignment. I mean, you're going to have Brunson guarding White. Now, that's what every team is thinking when they play Boston. White's the weak link, and he's been killing. Okay? So, you're going to have a tough assignment, period. Jrue Holiday and DiVincenzo are also going to be a battle. They know each other. They played together in Milwaukee. Jrue Holiday is a two-way player of the highest level. This is not going to be no joke tomorrow. And Boston's bench, led by Peyton Pritchard and Hauser, and Al Horford, are formidable. And like I said, when the Knicks are full strength, I'm not worried about Boston, but we're not at full strength. So our guys are going to be tested tomorrow. It's a good time to do it right after the All-Star break. It's a good experience for them. I'm not predicting no victory here, but I just want to see them play tough all the way 4 quarters against Boston. I believe they're going to do that. It's going to be players like Deuce, like Josh Hart, Like Bogdanovic, guys off the bench that are going to play major roles against the Boston second unit. We're going to see how this turns out. But, happy Friday to y'all. Enjoy your Friday. Be safe out there. Enjoy this game tomorrow night. It's going to be on national TV. I think it's on ABC, national TV. So, let's hope the Knicks. It'd be nice to get a win. I'm not going to predict no win because this is a tough game. It's a very tough game. The Knicks win this game, it says something about our team, for real, which we already seen them prove time and again this season. They're for real. But Boston is the top dog in the East right now. So we'll see how this works out. But a great game from the Knicks last night. Bogdanovic was fantastic. All of the top 9 guys were really good. Burks was the weak link, but Deuce came in and made up for it. The Knicks are for real. They're going to challenge in the East for sure. And especially now, you're going to get Juju back. You're going to get OG back. And you're going to get Mitchell Robinson back. Like I said, I expect all of them by early March, which is in a couple of weeks. I'm expecting all of them to come back. We'll see what happens otherwise, but I'm looking at that. Y'all, please enjoy the weekend. Please be safe out there. Shalom.